We do have a spokesperson of the Amalgamated Union of Foodstuff and Cattle Dealers Association in the person of Dr. Awal Abdullahi Aliyu, who is also President, Northern Consensus Movement. Good morning, Dr. Aliyu.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program this morning. Well, I suppose it's good to hear that things are beginning to approach normalcy again. But do I understand that some people are actually complaining about ongoing work to normalize affairs, saying that they were forced into withdrawing the intention to, as it were, erect a blockade to food coming to the South? ACF, I believe, has said that this is not kosher, this is not right, that their members were forced into it. They were coerced into it.
I beg to disagree with that presentation. I beg to disagree with that. Nobody forced anybody into anything. I will give you a quick backgrounder of what happened quickly. First and foremost, there was the #EndSARS issue where our members, Northerners, were killed and their properties destroyed. We lost over 100 people during the #EndSARS protest. We lost over 100 open-body trucks. We lost over 70 19-seater buses. We lost over 200 of saloon, Sharon, and golf cars. Apart from cows, goats, sheep, bags of beans, granules, and tomatoes, and what have you, so many perishables. That is one. On the Shasha incidents, we lost over 170 of our people from the north. We lost, as you are aware, the market was burned to ashes, and then our people were killed and slaughtered like rams. Our women were raped. Then a lot of things happened. Everybody saw that, everybody knew that. So it was a colossal damage, it was a colossal loss. And then instead of us retaliating back by killing and destroying the properties of our brothers from the south, southwest, or southeast, we thought it wise that let us be more civil than they are, let us approach it in a more diplomatic and more ruly manner. Hence the reason why we went into a no food supply to the south, southwest, and southeast. All the meetings were held in my house. I initiated, under the Northern Consensus Movement as the president, I initiated that meeting, I converged the meeting, and like I said, all the meetings were held in my house.
Sure.
And the decisions were also taken in my house. And we didn't want to kill or destroy anybody's property. That was why we took that civil way of approaching and solving this problem. Don't forget quickly, please, before you ask me the next question. The number of Yorubas living in the south, in the northwest, in Kaduna and Kano alone, outnumber the total Northerners that are living in south, southwest, and southeast. Also, the investment to Yorubas and Igbos in Kaduna and Kano alone is running into billions of naira. A Yoruba and Igbo man own a personal houses. They own skyrocketed buildings. They own farmlands. They own shops with billions of nairas in it. But our people from the Northerners that are in the south, southeast, and southwest, if you remove Dangote and Dua, they are only petty traders, shoe shiners, fingernail cutters, wheelbarrow pushers, Okada riders, suya makers. Now, if we had allowed our people from the north, with the tension that was on us at that time, to take to the street and protest and begin the killing and destruction of properties of the Yorubas and the Igbos, who would have lost more between us and the other part of Nigeria. Hence the reason why I converged that meeting under the Northern Consensus Movement, call all the aggrieved groups, sit down and begin to discuss. A lot of disagreement took place, a lot of fightings between us took place before we finally agree that there will be no attack, there will be no reprisal attack, but we will resort to peaceful way of presenting our grievances and this our agreement over the killings and destructions. So we did not force anybody into anything. What we did was to save the situation, was to make sure that nobody, no Southerner is killed or destroyed.
Dr. Aliyu, I'm afraid you misunderstood my question, but still, the response you gave to the misunderstood question is also quite informative. The point I was making in the question that I think you misunderstood is that we are reading in the press that there are elements to the those who were engaged in the blockade saying that it now having been called off, they were forced. You're now saying you're resuming business so that they can come to succor.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. Our people can resume business. We've had a commitment. You will see that Femi Fani-Kayode was part of that meeting. Femi Fani-Kayode is representing the southwestern people. Governor Seyi Makinde, of where the thing happened, the governor of Lagos State, Ugoho, Gani Adams, and the rest of them. We had that discussion under the leadership of Governor Yahaya Bello. So yes, we are resuming. Our people have been given the go-ahead to resume business, to resume movement and goods and properties from the north to all other parts of Nigeria.
Okay.
Here I would want to sincerely thank and appreciate Governor Yahaya Bello for his patriotism, for his nationalistic thinking, for his goodwill. I will tell you that he is a great guy. We appreciate him because he intervened, though he was instructed by the President and Commander-in-Chief, President Muhammadu Buhari, to intervene into this issue, call us and discuss to know what really transpired, what are our demands, what we wanted. And we explained to him after the meeting. He led us to the presidency. We met with the Chief of Staff to the President. We had a fruitful discussion. All our demands were accepted, and we had been promised that the 5-point demand we presented will be duly approved. And
there was a little matter. Sorry, doctor. There was a little matter of what is it? 450 billion naira that you were demanding from the federal authorities. Was that also?
No, I mispresented that. I was the one that made that presentation of the amount needed. I misrepresented that because, as usual, journalists, you guys have a way of intimidating people. One of your journalists intimidated me and then harassed me during that press conference, and then while I was trying to mention 47 billion, it was 47 billion, not 470 billion. Okay. Please, for the purpose of this, I'm making that correction. It is 47 billion we are asking for.
It is only 47 billion that you're asking for. Okay, I get it clear now.
Not 470 billion. Yeah.
Any word on that aspect of your discussions as you put them? That 47 billion matter.
Yes, there's a word. You see, we didn't just arrive at 47 billion because we want to mention 47 billion. We calculated the number of lives lost. We calculated the number of open body truck destroyed. We calculated the number of 19-seater buses destroyed. We calculated the number of smaller vehicles destroyed. We calculated the amount, the volume of cows, goats, sheep, bags of beans, granite, tomatoes, pepper, and everything that were destroyed. We also calculated how much it cost to, we still have about 75 people in hospital as I speak to you.
Okay.
We calculated all these things put together before we arrived at that 47 billion. So it is not just a figure that we brought out just because we want to mention a figure. Okay. It was a due calculation. And in any case, it is not paying outrightly for the loss. That was why we said compensation. Because if we were to ask for outright payment, it would have been a different thing. So the government has listened to us and understand our position, appreciated it, and promised to do everything humanly possible to get to our demand. And we've handle that to Governor Yahaya Bello. I said it during the meeting with him. If it fails, we will hold him responsible.
Okay, Dr. Aliyu, just before I come to my guest in studio, I beg your pardon for interrupting. Just before I come to my guest in studio, I just wanted to ask you how you assess this whole operation, because quite frankly, there are those who say that it's a bit like cutting one's nose to spite one's face. If you say you're not going to supply, it's not as if the North is a monopoly of food supply. And in any case, the ordinary farmer in the North will be the major person hurting from all of this. Not all you elite, not all the educated, enlightened businessmen, some of whom you have actually mentioned. But the ordinary farmer trying to eke out a living is the person who you really put in big trouble with this particular move.
Well, naturally, in situations like this, there are always going to be some losses. But my question to you and to the viewers is, which one will be better, losing life or losing property? Here, people are losing their lives and losing the property at the same time.
Okay.
Now we are saying, please stop what we are doing.
Sorry, Dr. Aliyu, I agree with you. Life is of the utmost importance. By the way, do you think the action, such as it was, since it's over now, do you think it was successful, really?
Oh, greatly successful, greatly successful. I don't want to be mentioning this, but I will mention, if you will investigate, you will discover that a ram, not cow, a ram was sold for 1 million naira in Lagos yesterday. A ram, not cow. The head of, mistakenly in Port Harcourt, some of our people slaughtered 2 cows in Port Harcourt day before yesterday, and it was a bidding process. It was a very serious competition bidding. One person bought only the head of one of the cows for 800,000.
Okay.
Chicken sold for 10,000 naira, and a basket of tomatoes sold for 37,000. A bag of onion sold for 35,000. In the southwest and southeast, hotels and what have you were crying and calling for how they can get it. They were smuggling these things through luxurious buses
Dr. Aliyu,
and even flying them through airlines.
Okay, Dr. Aliyu, so you've discountenanced. Sorry, Dr. Aliyu. So just to use the example of the onions that you gave, it must mean that you discountenanced reports that were saying that, you know, the market for onions, for example, that you spoke about had crashed. I mean, onions that were supposed to be going for much more than that, I think around 35,000 that you spoke about, I don't know, was going for 7,500. You discountenance such reports as propaganda.
Well, of course, no. What I said, let me repeat.
No, I'm not saying what
a bag of onions.
Yes, it has crashed. The price has crashed.
It could. Yeah, naturally it will crash because we have already opened the road. There's the movement of this route to the southwest, southeast, and south. So naturally the price will crash. And then it was not, like I said, it was not intended to punish our brothers from the south, southwest, and southeast. We only did that to make our position known, to disagree with what is going on. And thank God, like I said, Femi Fani-Kayode was there. He has promised through him. There's a very serious commitment through him to Governor Yahaya Bello and our brothers in the north. And again, I want to thank Femi Fani-Kayode for the effort. I want to greatly appreciate Governor Yahaya Bello. He is truly
politicizing the issue. Would you accept that you're politicizing it?
No. There's no politics about this. You can't play politics with human life. It is not possible for you to play politics with human life. If anybody want to do that,
no, we're talking about the food blockade.
We don't want to do that.
We're talking about the food blockade.
Yes, the food blockade is not a political issue. It is an issue. It is an issue that you have done something to me that I feel I'm not happy about, and I didn't want to retaliate. I went that way. Yes, the issue of talking to, maybe addressing a state governor or something. This thing has been happening not only now. It is a continuous event that we have been accommodating. If you want me to, you see, history. If you are a good student of history, you will know that this is not just the beginning. It has always been happening, and we've always been accommodating it. And possibly because we've been accommodating it, we've not been retaliating. That was why it is seen as if anytime, any day, anybody can wake up at the slightest provocation, he begin to manhandle the people for our region that they do not belong. If you remember, there was the Shagamu issue. During the Shagamu issue, you know what happened, where people were killed and brought back in trailer load of dead bodies. That was what happened. If you had forgotten, I will remind you of the OPC issue in Lagos. It has also been the same thing. So it's not an issue of regionalization. What we are saying is this in over time has been happening. At the slightest provocation, the northerner's life is being attacked. His property is being attacked. So we didn't want to retaliate. That was why we resorted to this. So even if you are talking of regionalization, then it is the southerners that regionalize the killing of northerners. And this has been going on for a very long time. It is not just this one. And we've accommodated it for all this period of time until now that we are saying, please stop it. And even the stop it, we did not kill or destroy anybody's property.
All right. I wanted to be clear in my mind who you are speaking for. Northern Consensus Movement or Amalgamated Union of Foodstuff and Cattle Dealers Association?
I am the president of Northern Consensus Movement and the spokesperson for the Amalgamated Union. I want you to note this. The organization that undertook this in 75 different organizations and unions across northern Nigeria came together to take this decision. It is not one or two or three groups. And like I said, I assemble all the groups. I repeat, I assemble all the groups and the meetings took place in my house. That is why we have the meetings. So I am speaking for these groups, not only for Northern Consensus Movement. And I had always, since the beginning of the project, when I brought them all, I have always been the one speaking for the group. So I'm not just speaking for Northern Consensus Movement, I'm speaking for the 75 different groups. The Amalgamated Union come up because of the food issue thing. That was why the name is so prominent. Otherwise, 75 different groups are involved in this.
Okay. And just before I come to studio, the blockade is off. Food is now coming.
It's off, yeah.
It's going everywhere. All these ideas about you are going to have to start exporting to other neighboring countries since there was no more market in the south. Those plans are on hold, or you're sort of widening the supply route. What's with all, or was that just careless talk?
No. It was not a careless talk. I will also want you to know that and make it clear before Nigerians that we did not plan the supply to Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad, and what have you. It was not a planned thing. That is to say, we as Northern Consensus Movement, or in collaboration with Amalgamation Union, or all the 75 groups, we are not the one that planned the movement of these food items to this African continent. The thing just came up on its own. The marketers realized that because of what is going on, they just don't need to sit back and then be supplying only one angle. So they themselves discovered the market and started the movement on their own. So why I'm saying this, I needed to clarify this so that it will not look as if it is a plan. We planned to starve our other brothers from the other part of Nigeria. No, it was not a deliberate or planned thing. Yes, the no food supply is planned. It was strategically planned, but the exportation of food to other African countries is not planned. It just came up naturally. That is one. Two, on the issue of the farmers, like you asked earlier, whether there is going to be losses and things like that. Yes, there's losses. Losses have been incurred, but I think our people appreciated those losses because it's better than losing life. Two, yes, we have opened the road, and then the food supply continue. And then if like Egaho through Femi Fanikayo, they said he will be waiting at the border to receive northerners bringing food, and he will escort them with his people to whichever market. Now that is unity in Nigeria.
Okay, Dr. Aliyu. Okay, you did